Okay, so now that we have the base completed, we're getting ready to go into the body of our work. So this is our finished project, our bag. If we look, we have our base star down here. And now we're going to be working the first section. It's actually titled the second section of our bag. And we'll be making these rectangles that lean towards the right when you look at them. So we're going to go ahead. This would be a good time if you're working in two different colors to start your next color. So what we have to do, we ended here right after we joined it. But for this go around, we'll be working in the triangles or the side that's on the right. Okay, so we have to get over to that side, so we need to purl one more row. Okay, so let me just put this on my needles, and I'm going to purl one row so that I can get back to this side. Okay, so now we're going to be picking up stitches down this side, and depending on the size you make, if we had the smaller size, we worked 6 stitches here, so you'll be picking up 10 stitches. If you made the larger size, you'll be picking up 12 stitches. So since it's a little difficult to pick them up with the right side facing, we're actually going to turn. So this will be the first time if you're working with purling backwards that you'll be on the back. And we're going to pick up our stitches from the back side. So I'm going to go ahead. I'm not going to cut my yarn, but I am going to join my second color because I'm going to have rows of colors in this one. So I'm just going to, again, and we want to go 10 stitches, and we want to go from all the way to just below the needle to right over here, kind of where the other one begins. So we're going to go evenly along that whole thing, still trying to go under 2 threads if we can. Okay, if you can't, you just go where you can. And then for the first one, I'm just going to bring it in. We're doing the same thing with the picking up of the stitches. So it's a little bit tighter this way. Starting the next row, we'll be slipping some stitches, so that way it'll make it a little bit easier for us when we pick up our stitches. So I did the first one. Now the second one, I'm going to use the tail and the working yarn just to give it a little bit of an anchor. And then I'm just going to bring my tail to the front, or what's in the back, but it's the front facing me right now, just so it's out of the way. And then I'm going to continue picking up my stitches. So since we doubled this, that counts as 1 stitch, not 2. So I've done 2 so far. So go 3. And just go slow. It can take a while. You'll get used to it. By the end, you'll be a pro at picking up stitches. And then, like I said, we're going as close to the other needle as we can. So I'm going to go in this last one. Okay. And then we just double check that we've picked up 10. Okay, and now we're going to turn so that we're working on the right side. Okay. So we are going to start and we are going to knit a row. So we're knitting all 10 stitches. And remember, when you get to the one that's doubled, we treat it as 1. And 10. Okay. So now, to make it a little bit easier going forward, what we're going to be doing is the very first stitch of our purl row, we're going to slip. So we're just going to move it from the, if you're in the back, you move it just from one needle over. Okay? And now we're going to purl 8. So it's 1 from the end, because we're going to do that thing where we close the gap again. So we slipped 1, and now we're going to purl 8. And you're doing 1 from the end of your triangle. I keep saying triangle, but they're actually rectangles. So now we're going to purl 2 together. So if you're facing forward, it's the same thing where you just go into 2 of them, treat them as 1. Okay, and then we're going to go back and we're going to knit 10. So we're always working with 10 stitches. And for this section, it'll be you knit 10, and then when you purl, you slip the first one, and then you purl 8, and then purl 2 together. So you're taking 1 from the new section and 1 from your old section. Okay, and you're going to continue that until you use up all the stitches from your old section. So I'll come back when we just have 1 remaining. Okay, so I'm back for the last row. So I'm slipping 1. I'm going to purl 8. And then I'm going to do my last purl 2 together. And I'm not going to knit back. Okay? We're going to pick up 10 stitches along the next edge. So we're going to flip our work to the back. And we're going to pick up 10 stitches. Just like we were doing. So I'm just going to scooch everything onto the cable part. And now I'm going to, again, you go as close to the top as you can for your first one. And then I'm going to pick up 10. They can be a little tricky, so just slow down as I take my own advice. If you're not getting it into the certain place you're going, try adjusting slightly. Go into another spot and see if that works. Okay. That one worked. Let me just split the thread. So. And I'm just going to count again. 1, 2, 3. Okay, so those are the original 10. And then we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, And again, we're going all the way across, as close to the other needle as we can. And then we'll do one last one. So that is our 10. Okay, and then we flip our work around. You're going to knit one row, and then we're going to do the same thing. So we knit a row, and then with the purls, you're going to be slipping the first one, purling 8, and then purl 2 together until we use all our stitches. And you're going to just continue doing that until you get all the way around back to the beginning. And then we work our third section.